Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dr. Gevrek. We are learning about labor economics. We are now on the labor mobility chapter. This is the immigration migration chapter, labor mobility chapter 8. Couple of things. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, and if you haven't hit the like button for this video, hit the like button, because if you do so, you are actually going to push this video to other economics students. They are looking for this video and they're wanting to learn more about economics and labor economics, so they'll benefit from it. Let's get started. Okay, so this is part 1. In this part, we'll talk about immigration in the United States. So general facts about immigration in the US. Immigration is the sincerest form of flattery. Okay, so that's a nice quote on immigration. Let's get started. Immigration in the United States. There's been an increase in the immigration in the US in recent decades. United States receives the largest immigrant inflow in the world. Okay, so I am originally from some other country. I'm from Turkey. I migrated here for education and I became a US citizen. And I am one of those immigrants, more than likely, unless you're Native American, right? Your ancestors migrated from somewhere, and that's what it makes this country a great country. Let's get started. So what happened is that the mix of countries of origin has changed tremendously over time in the United States. So in the 1950s, for instance, only 6% of immigrants came from Asia, and most of the immigrants came from European countries. In 2000s, now we have 31% of immigrants coming from Asia. So as you can see, the increase in the percentage of immigrants coming from Asia has gone up. Okay, so this is legal immigration to the US by decades, starts from 1800s to 2010. And if you look at this, this is the legal immigrants again. Number of legal immigrants in millions. As you can see, in 1800s, it's a very low number, right? And then there's a huge spike at the beginning of the 20th century. That's 1900s, right? And you see that's going down. These are in millions. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? And there is a huge dip here. What happened here? What happened here? This is the Great Depression, right? Prolonged recession in the United States. Then immigration has increased tremendously starting in 1930s, and now we're getting by decade about 10 million, more than 10 million immigrants each decade. Okay, so we had 47 million first generation immigrants in the United States. First generation means they just entered the country foreign born. Okay, and this is the 19.1% of the world's 244 million immigrants. Okay, so worldwide immigrant population is more than 200 million, and almost 20% of it is United States. Okay, so it's the 14.4% of the US population is made up of immigrants, first generations. I'm not talking about people whose parents came here before or ancestors came here before. So, for instance, in 2019, 1.03 million immigrants entered in the United States. All these numbers are, of course, we're focusing on this group. Okay? So let's talk about this. This was the international migration facts. This is the internal migration. Internal means, right, you're from Texas, you're moving to, hopefully, don't move. You're moving to Idaho. Don't move. We want you here. We want our students in Texas. But let's say you're from Idaho, you move to Texas. Welcome. So let's talk about the internal migration facts. So probability of internal migration depends on certain things. The most important determinant is the income differences between the destination and the origin location of origin. So if you have high earning power at a comparatively similar living standard city, you're going to move. Okay, so imagine two cities, both are relatively, not cheap cities, right? Houston or Dallas, right? In Texas, Houston or Dallas. Let's say you're getting offered a job $120,000 in Houston. In Dallas, you're getting offered $150,000. You don't have family in either city, so you may choose to live in Dallas. because it pays more. So this is CORR. This is short for correlation. Positive correlation means two variables move together. There's not necessarily causation, but two things that move together. If it's a positive correlation, that means they move in the same direction. If it's negative correlation, they move in the opposite directions. Okay? So for instance, probability of migration and improved employment conditions, not necessarily only the pay, they are positively correlated. Improved employment conditions mean more likely for a person to migrate. Distance and probability of migration are negatively correlated, which means higher the distance between the place of origin and destination, the lower the probability of moving to that place. So it's probably easier to move from Houston to Dallas versus Houston to Los Angeles. These are two different distances. Distance could be a proxy for the cost of migration. So distance is taken as a proxy for migration cost. This could be actually not only monetary cost of moving from Houston to LA, but also psychological. If you have family in Houston, maybe you want to be closer to your family. Another one is the correlation between educational attainment. Educational attainment and probability of migration are positively correlated. That means highly educated people are more likely to move. Workers, this is another fact, that have migrated are likely to return to their place's location of origin. This is called return migration, which is a huge thing in the United States. I'm an example. I went to school at UT Austin in Texas, Austin, Texas. Then I got a job in University of Southern Mississippi in Mississippi. I got back to Texas as fast as I can. I'm working at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, right? It's in Texas. And people are more likely to migrate again. So migrants are more likely to return home, also migrate again. So let's see this graph. This is the probability of migrating across state lines in 2005-2006 by age and educational attainment. So as you can see here, as people age, as they get older, right, this is the age, they're less likely to migrate. Y-axis is the probability of migration. So 6% here, right, 4%, 2%. So youngest people have the highest likelihood of migration. College graduates are more likely to migrate crossing the state lines, right? Around 4.3%. High school graduates have lower probability of migration. And as you age, look at the high school graduates. Probability of migration goes down by 70. People are pretty settled in where they are. 1% chance of migration. This internal migration. And college graduates are more likely to migrate. Probability goes down as they age. And this is it. I'll see you in part 2, where we'll talk about reasons for immigration and impact of immigration in local population. See you then.